I mean, who are these people? Who are these grown men and women, but particularly men, who wear football jerseys? Well, I can sort of see to the game, I guess. But I mean,
but in their private lives, I mean, just in...
But to work.
Around the home, the office, please.
I mean, it's embarrassing.
You know, my dad's been cooking out there in the parking lot for about 15 years at Giant Stadium. Comes out there with the jersey ready to go, the big giant sweatsuit, cooking eggs in the morning.
He's a mental patient.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My father, though, he's been doing that for a long time.
He's a mental patient.
All my family likes to do stuff like that, man. That's what you do on Sunday. You get up early and you get some bagels and you put the jersey on. You get out to the parking lot. You party all day with the fans. You win the ball game. You go more drinking and steaks in the parking lot to go home. That's a day of football. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Just a huge L on the forehead.
Well, I mean, that's anybody who even actually sits and watches an entire football game is a loser.
In the stadium or at home on television?
Any place.
Yeah. Any place. I used to go with a bunch of cops out to the Shea Stadium back in whenever it was to see the Jets, and that's all we do. We get drunk in a parking lot and screaming and hollering at everybody, starting fights. And when about halfway through the game, I'd pass out, and it was a nightmare.
That sounds like a great time. I wish I was there for those days.
You know, MSNBC has just flashed on my screen. It looks like there is a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
We got Warner on the phone, who's looking at it right now.
Warner,
I'm in.
what's the deal?
Something hit the World Trade Center. I think it was a plane. I heard it right over my head, and the explosion rocked the building.
Really?
And I'm looking at it right now. The smoke is just bellowing out of the World Trade Center. I mean, it's horrible. You can see the fire. You can see the smoke. I mean, it's a monster hole. You know, the World Trade Center, there's the Twin Towers. It's the one on the right.
Right.
And it is, I mean, it's horrible. It is terrible. It's just black smoke, and on the left you can see the fire.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
I can see it on MSNBC here.
The whole top of the building.
There's a flame. Well, it looks like there is smoke coming from the side of the building. Oh, my God. It looks like something flew into the building.
Yeah, I heard it. Went right overhead. I was laying in bed, and I said, boy, that plane sounds low. And then, boom. I mean, it was like a bomb. This is horrible. This is a disaster. Jeez, I'm looking at maybe, I hope because of the time, maybe there aren't that many people there. But, that, God's sakes, that's a busy thing. Oh, man. This is terrible. I can't believe I'm looking at this. It's like you're looking at a movie or something, but I'm looking at it live. It's right in front of me because that's where I live. I'm looking out my bedroom window. Oh man, the smoke is just coming out of the top.
You can see it. It's a huge. The whole.
Oh man, and
the whole top of the building is engulfed in smoke.
Oh, this is.
And then there's smoke pouring out of the side of the building, in which obviously something has flown into the side. Do we have any other information, Mark, from anybody?
Not yet. We're waiting. Warner's got actually the breaking news here.
Yeah, I think it was a plane. I heard it. I heard the plane. I heard. I said, my wife was close. Man, that sounds awful low. And then boom. I mean, when an explosion rocks your building, I'd say we're about 7 blocks away.
No.
And I'm looking right at it. Oh man.
The hole looks like it covers a few floors.
Yeah, and I mean the width. You're talking about the whole side.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But the hole nearly covers the entire side.
Yes.
Encompasses the entire side of the World Trade Center. Which building is it? Is it the one with the observation deck or the other one?
It's the taller one, the one on the right.
Right.
Of course, depending if you're looking right to left, but it's the one that has the huge tower on top. I think that's the TV towers.
Right.
And gosh, you see people on the rooftops looking, and downtown Tribeca. You can. Oh, this is God's sakes! This is terrible.
Yeah, that really is that's an awful sight just to look at it.
Oh man!
Early report here that it was some sort of that it was a twin-engine plane that flew right into the trade center, but no word on if it was a commercial or private or what?
God. Oh. I don't think I've never seen anything like this.
Can we pick up whatever live thing they have on MSNBC? Oh, they're not. All we have are this, but now there's smoke pouring out of one where apparently the hole went into the side of the building, but then it looks as though there's fire now.
Yeah.
I don't see any flames, but there's such an enormous amount of smoke that obviously there's fire.
It's the side facing north. If you were coming uptown, that's the north side. God's sakes. I'd say the only thing positive about it is that if you were under it, if people in the building, of course, I don't think you can use any elevators or anything like that, but I guess they can walk down. But anything from that explosion and up, you can't get out.
No.
God.
We got a feed here. Let's see what we can hear.
Couldn't tell much more from 14th Street. Now, we had an earlier eyewitness that told us he thought it appeared to be a 737. What you saw was a small, perhaps twin-engine airplane?
No, not a twin engine. It was a jet of medium to smallish proportions. Not a big airliner, though.
Okay. Okay, so it appeared to be you heard this sound. I'm just trying to understand what happened. You heard a sound. That's what compelled you to look up into the sky.
You could hear a jet coming overhead, and it sounded low. So many of us looked up to see what was, because it sounded so close. We all looked up, and like I said, it didn't look like it was swerving or out of control. It was going steadily lower. It was, definitely going steadily lower, but it wasn't dropping like nose first or anything that would make you think that the plane was in trouble.
Right. Which then, of course, raises the question exactly what was that airplane doing and how did this occur?
Right.
But the airplane did not appear to be in trouble to you.
I don't know enough about airplanes to know what it should look like, but it wasn't nose down or it wasn't swerving up and down or left and right. It was making a straight, steady decline towards the World Trade Center.
Mary, I'm hearing what sounds to be an awful lot of people that are either crying or sobbing or something in the background.
That's my baby wondering why I'm still standing here, but there are a lot of us who are shaking or
idiots.
There's a special excitement about being a part of history. Swung on a deep to right. There it goes. That ball is gone. A grand slam for Tito Martinez. And there's no place more exciting than Yankee Stadium. Don't miss the action as the defending world champion Yankees meet the Chicago White Sox in 3 big games chock full of promotional giveaways. The series begins on Tuesday, September 11th at 7:05. The following night, also a 7:05 start, is Cole's Yankees Business Card Holder Night for the first 25,000 fans 21 and over. The series concludes at 7:05 on Thursday, September 13th. That night, the first 25,000 fans 21 and over receive a Yankees travel mug courtesy of Chock full of Nuts. For tickets, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212. That's 212-307-1212.
Hi, this is Ben Benson. I have always been an aficionado of the classic New York Steakhouse. It was terrific when I got the opportunity to do one myself. What we do is buy the finest food and prepare it very, very simply. And that's been my motto, buy the best. Prepare it simply, and your customers will appreciate it. It's funny, people will say to me, how come your cream spinach is so great? Because the classic steakhouse meal is the sirloin steak, the hash browns, and the cream spinach. I'm a little bit nutty about making sure that the consistency is there. And that's something you will only get in a restaurant that has an owner on premises. We have gotten some intensely favorable critical praise. My favorite one of all appeared in Gourmet Magazine. After raving about our superb cuts of meat, they referred to Ben Benson's as a true treasure in New York. Ben Benson's Steakhouse, 123 West 52nd Street, 212-581-8888. And when you're in, come over and say hello to me.
Listen. That's what you sound like.
Dr. Gene Wagner talks about nighttime teeth grinding.
Aside from being a turnoff for the person you sleep with, it can cause tooth loosening, even tooth loss. That's why I created a dental protector to cushion your teeth. It's called the Doctor's Night Guard. Because you fit it yourself, you'll save money. More importantly, you'll protect your teeth. It might even help your sex life.
The Doctor's Night Guard. Relieve the nightly grind.
The day has ended. Amber skies blend to twilight blue. The world softens a bit around the edges, and you release all the cares of the day. Now is the time for Bella Sera wine. Bella Sera Pinot Grigio from Italy. Pour a glass, relax. It's going to be a beautiful evening. Or as they say in Italian, it's going to be a Bella Sera. Imported by Villa de Bella Sera, Healdsburg, California.
Right, yes. Hey, the Ovaltine man. Yeah.
No kid can resist the taste of rich chocolate Ovaltine.
This is so good and chocolatey. This is great chocolate milk. Is it Nesquik? Get real. It's rich chocolate Ovaltine.
Kids love Ovaltine's rich chocolate taste. And Ovaltine adds vitamins and minerals that Nesquik powder doesn't. So why give them Nesquik when you can give them more? And there are more vitamins and minerals in Ovaltine.
Ovaltine rocks.
This is a healthcare update from Hackensack University Medical Center. There's currently a blood shortage here in the metropolitan area. My guest is Kathleen Riley, Administrative Director of Pathology at Hackensack University Medical Center. Kathy, what can people in the audience do to help?
They can roll up their sleeves and donate, either at Hackensack University Medical Center's blood donor service or at their local blood bank.
A lot of people are afraid of donating blood. They fear danger or pain.
There's only a little pinch in the arm, and the entire system that we use for collecting the blood is sterile and single-use.
If you want more information about donating blood, call your local blood bank, your local hospital, and if you're interested in doing it at Hackensack University Medical Center, you can call 201-996-4818. That's 996-4818. Do the right thing. Give the gift of life. Give blood. This has been a healthcare update from Hackensack University Medical Center. We're with you for life.
WFAN New York.
CBS Tonight. Feel the rhythm. Experience the passion and the heat. The Latin Grammy Awards live. It's the Grammys with a twist. CBS Tonight.
Tourno, the world's largest watch store since 1900, poses the question, what does your watch say about you?
At the Spitfire clause for altitude, the pilot checks my watch face. I am the Mark 15 Spitfire watch from Tourneau of the IWC's pilot line, commemorating the Royal Air Force's most famous battle plane. In the 1940s, IWC was the official supplier to the Royal Air Force. Designed and manufactured by hand in Switzerland, professional pilots put their trust in IWC. It's time for a barrel roll. The pilot eases nose down for a little extra speed. I picture a 109 closing on our tail. IWC, since 1868 and for as long as there are men, I am the Mark 15 Spitfire watch, and I say a lot about you.
See what a new watch can say about you at Tourno, the world's largest watch store since 1900, with over 100 brands and 8,000 styles in all price ranges. Tourno, Madison at 52nd, 7th Avenue and 34th Street, the World Trade Center, Roosevelt Field, Long Island, and the Tourno Time Machine, 57th Street at Madison.
Well, the other tower just blew up. I mean, a huge hole just blew up in the other tower, the tower that the plane flew in. There's a huge hole in that, and then the other World Trade Center tower blew up.
There is another huge area damaged by an explosion on the other tower, not the tower that the aircraft hit, that also appears to range over maybe 15 to 20 stories at the least. Some sort of secondary explosion in the other tower has just occurred.
Are we getting any live feed? What kind of live feed are we getting from Channel 4? Is there anything you can pick up from anybody? So look at that, Charles. Look. Well, you can see it blow.
Yeah.
They're showing a replay of it blowing up.
Of the secondary explosion in the other tower. It's absolutely.
Because you just turned your radio or television on, the plane has flown into the side of the World Trade Center.
It looks, people are starting to say it could be a terrorist attack.
Well, you would suspect maybe with a secondary explosion in the other tower that was not involved in the initial incident, which is what has been described as some sort of twin-engine plane flying into the north side of Tower 1 of the World Trade Center.
And now the other tower blowing up.
Now the other tower, a massive explosion.
We got Warner back.
Warner?
Yeah, man. The tower on the left that just got it, I didn't hear any airplane. And there's no big hole. I don't think that was a plane.
Well, but there was a huge plume of fire.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Covered nearly 15 or 20 stories. So that appears to be that both towers appear to be on fire.
Both towers are on fire. The one on the right that was hit first was a plane. I mean, you could hear the plane go over and boom. Then the one on the left, which just happened minutes ago, the two holes, I don't think it was a plane. God, I hate to say it. I hate, if I had to guess, I would say it was a bomb. I mean, they just exploded.
Yeah,
the two holes.
It looked at. And how big is the hole on the one on the left?
As the smoke is, oh man, now you can see it's going to be like half the cover of the building, half the front. I'm looking south, so the north side of the buildings are facing me. I'd say it covers half of the left tower. The one on the right is almost the entire tower on the right, the width of the hole.
Well, right now, the Associated Press is saying, although you say you did not see a second airplane,
right?
There is word that a second plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
Yes, one of the networks picked that up before on video. Yeah.
Both towers, as you mentioned, are in flames, smoke building, and as many as 6 deaths reported right now.
Oh man, I never heard the second plane.
If in fact there was one.
Oh God, this is you can see the debris falling. Oh, this is terrible.
Oh, there's another.
Oh, no, I just saw the plane just fly into it, so it purposely flew into it.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Because I was.
Oh man. Well, it wasn't a jet. It was probably just a prop. Oh.
So clearly a terrorist attack. You
would assume at this point.
Assume a terrorist attack.
You have to assume it. Oh man.
2 airplanes have flown into the World Trade Center in New York City, striking each tower.
Well, that is.
My God.
What are they saying on MSNBC? Can we pick that up audio?
Seriously, U.S. government facilities worldwide remain at a heightened state of alert. Now, you'll remember that when the World Trade Center explosion happened back in 1993, this was linked to Osama bin Laden's terrorist network.
The World Trade Center has 7 high-rise buildings, a shopping mall, several levels of underground parking, and if this was a terrorist attack, it was timed at a moment on the East Coast shortly before 9 o'clock, where there would have been a great many people inside these 2 buildings. There you see the second attack, the plane coming in, exploding in the second tower. There would have been a great many people inside these 2 towers who no doubt lost their lives. Not to mention the debris raining down on people below a very busy area, the southern part of Manhattan during rush hour. We do not have any reports of injuries or deaths, but surely that will be coming to us very shortly. Lester? Lester?
All right, what I want to do is take a look at that airplane in slow motion. It looks like a jet aircraft. There it is, frozen. Clearly a low-wing airplane. Looks to be a swept wing, which indicates a jet, and it looks like a sizable jet, perhaps an airliner or a commuter jet. Can we roll it just a little bit here? Okay, freeze it right there if you can. Clearly that is a swept-wing jet, which means a passenger-sized jet of some kind, which leads to all kinds of questions. Now, airliners, are on radar. They have transponders that allow the controllers to not only see where the airplane is, the altitude, its flight number. A plane that would be flying in controlled airspace that would not be responding to controllers would be a source of concern, but frankly, there's nothing they can do about it. They could violate the pilot, they could fine him, all those sorts of things, but a determined pilot willing to do something, there is nothing they can do about it. Can we zoom in on the airplane now, digitally? Let's see if we can get a little closer look. But this clearly looks like And I'm just, from this angle, a 737, perhaps an A319 size airplane that looks very much like either a 737 or an A320, a plane that would carry over 100 passengers. Now, from the direction it's coming, we know Newark Airport is just about 10 miles from the west of this. LaGuardia is another 10 or 12 miles to the east, but this plane is coming east across the Hudson River as it makes its approach. That is clearly, from the indications I'm looking at, is a small jet, small airliner-sized jet. Looks to me either an A320 or a 737-sized airplane. Unable to, of course, make out any markings, an airline or that, but again, there is nothing controllers could do if a maverick pilot decided to leave his flight plan, decided to leave his course, and make a suicide plunge like we have witnessed here. We don't know. Witnesses who saw the initial hit of the airplane said it was also a twin-engine airplane. Some discrepancies as to the size. Some believe it was a small commuter-sized plane. This plane you're looking at is the one we saw hit the second tower a short time ago. And from every indication in this shot that we have pushed in on digitally here, it is clearly, you see the upward swing of the wings. It's a swept wing, a jet design, two large, look like high bypass engines underneath.
Susan Waldman is, where are you, Susan?
I'm on the Triborough Bridge, Don, and I was on the Bruckner when the second plane just hit. So I really had a bird's eye view of this. I saw the fireball from the first plane and then turned on the radio, and as I was driving on the Bruckner trying to get to the bridge, I saw it looked like a twin-engine plane come over the Hudson River and go right at the other tower. So I saw that, and the smoke is now just streaming towards Brooklyn. The Triborough Bridge obviously is just at a standstill and backed up as police cars are going through, but I actually saw, it looked like a big plane, and I'm not an expert at planes, but it looked like a pretty decent-sized plane come from the Hudson River side and go straight into the second tower.
Did it look like a jet?
It looked like I saw two engines. It looked like a big plane. I'm not a big plane person.
Right.
It didn't look like a little tiny Cessna jet, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. And both towers are on fire now.
Both towers are on fire. It's all black smoke now. As I was on the Bruckner before the second plane hit, I did see the fireball from the first plane that was hit, and then I saw this plane come across and hit the second tower.
Where are you right now?
I'm right on top of the Triborough Bridge.
And it's all stopped?
And it's it's moving slowly, but we're moving over to the sides for police cars obviously are trying to get through here. But what I can see right now is just total black smoke billowing out of the World Trade Center and just sort of floating towards Brooklyn, and we're obviously moving very, very slowly. Excuse me, I'm shaking here.
As Lester Holt was saying, if in fact it appeared to him to possibly be a 737, there is now an indication from the Associated Press that the FBI is investigating reports of an aircraft hijacking just before this World Trade Center disaster occurred. If in fact it was an airplane coming out of Newark Airport or one of the local airports that had been taken over by a hijacker, at least that is plausible at this point, and the FBI is said to be investigating that possibility right now.
All right, Susan, thank you very much. Take care of yourself.
Okay, John. Thanks.
Susan Waldman, who's there on the Triborough Bridge. I guess they're moving a little bit,
but this is stunning. Yeah, I mean, and the implications are just unimaginable at this point.
Well, I mean, there's no way to even describe
it.
When we have the actual video we're watching on there as MSNBC of you can see the plane fly into the World Trade Center.
Of the second aircraft approached the World Trade Center from over the Hudson River. And the film that if you haven't seen, you will see later today sometime, you are seeing the back part of the explosion occur. The plane hits the other side of the World Trade Center, and the burst you see coming through is on this side, meaning that the explosion just erupted all through those floors of the building and came out the back.
All right.
No, there's I don't know. And now report that the FBI is investigating the possibility of a plane having been hijacked.
All right, well, We'll stay on top of this. So.
How may I help you?
I'm a product announcement, and I'm very late getting to our website. This could mess up our whole e-business.
I'm sorry, sir, but your departure has been postponed.
Now boarding all FatWire content for all enterprise-class websites and web applications.
What about all that content? They're boarding.
That content is flying FatWire. They're always on time.
Could I upgrade to FatWire software, please?
Upgrade your content management capabilities. Visit fatwire.com to register for an online seminar on effective content management. That's fatwire.com.
Commercials are more believable when real customers give a testimonial. So on the line with me is Karen Ellis, a Geico Auto Insurance customer. Karen, give us a testimonial.
Well, of all the canned peaches I've tried, I think the ones in heavy syrup are the best. They're just good.
There, a testimonial from a real live Geico customer who could save 15% or more on car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Are you losing your hair? Hi, I'm Jim Austin with an exciting new development in the treatment of hair loss. Here's Dr. Gordon, medical director at the Hair and Skin Treatment Center in New York.
The FDA has reported that the body chemical dihydrotestosterone, commonly known as DHT, is the leading cause of hair loss. At our center, we've developed Avocor, a natural herbal treatment that stops DHT from attacking your hair follicles and starts regrowing hair in balding areas. Avocor's DHT blocker is all natural, safe, and effective. In 6 years of clinical use by thousands of men and women, the Avocor system regrew hair on virtually everyone. We guarantee it. Stop DHT from ruining your life.
Call 800-876-6461. Now you can use this remarkable treatment risk-free for 3 full months. We're confident it's going to work for you. Call 800-876-6461. That's 800-876-6461.
Hi, it's Glenn Cohen. One of the reasons I started YHD Realty was because I felt people were losing too much of their home's equity when it came time to sell. Friends of mine bought a home 5 years ago, and its value increased by $50,000. Unfortunately, when they sold it, they only walked away with half that. Why? They paid their traditional real estate agent a 6% commission. That's just too much money. At YHD Realty, we charge only a 2% commission and have top local agents to work with you every step of the way. Plus, we've already saved New Jersey homeowners over $14 million in real estate commissions. So don't give away the home equity you've worked years to build up. Call YHD Realty at 1-800-CALL-YHD. That's 1-800-CALL-YHD. Or visit our website at YHD.com. It's YHD for a lower fee.
Total savings amount is based on total commissions paid on YHD listings versus total commissions that would have been paid if a 6% commission had been charged. All commissions are negotiable.
I went to towns across Connecticut to see how customers feel about getting a year of free checking at People's. I asked Grady from Granby, Adam from Haddam, and Marianne from Darien. Guess what? They love it. Jill from Rocky Hill also loves the fact that when you get free checking at People's, you'll receive 50 free checks, but that's just the beginning. With People's Plus checking, you can bank when, where, and how you want, by ATM, phone, or online. You can also enjoy the convenience of 7-day banking inside Super Stop and Shop. So join your neighbors throughout the state who love getting a year of free checking at People's. To open your account, do what Monty from Montville did and go to peoples.com. Or be like Wendy from Windsor and call 1-800-772-1090. Rich from Litchfield decided to open his account by visiting his nearest People's branch. Free checking. Yet another tailored solution that's possible at People's. Just ask Charlie from Chaplin. Free of monthly maintenance and per check fees for 1 year from date account is open. People's Bank. Member FDIC. Offer ends October 27th.
I'm Lori McNichol for the Mohegan Sun Fan Highway Patrol, where the whole lower Manhattan area is at a standstill. The inbound Battery Tunnel is not moving. FDR Drive also not moving from 14th Street all the way down. Subways E, R, N, and 6 trains not stopping in the World Trade Center area, and that includes Rector Street, Triborough, crawling in all directions, 30 minutes inbound at the Holland Tunnel, 45 minutes at the inbound Lincoln, and 20 to both decks at the inbound George Washington Bridge. The eye forecast for today, sunshine and a high of about 82. The low tonight about 60, and right now it is 70 degrees. This report's brought to you by Panasonic. Panasonic invites you to experience the brilliance and clarity of high-definition television. But be warned, you'll never be satisfied with regular TV again. HD TV, made possible by Panasonic. Now at the Wiz. I'm Lori McNichol for the Mohegan Sun Fan Highway Patrol.
On the next, Sopranos, the former head of the First Family investigates the possibility of returning to power.
Enough already. I gave him a chance, but Uncle Junior Bush just ain't getting it done. I mean, he's worried about illiteracy. He can't even read Curious George without moving his f***ing lips. He thinks stem cells are where flowers go to jail.
But there's a little thing called the Constitution standing in the way.
22nd Amendment, don't make me laugh. There ain't a law in the books I couldn't find a loophole for. And the same goes for this only 2 terms bullshit. By the time I'm done, not only will the 22nd Amendment be repealed, I'll have them get rid of the 19th, too. That'll make my old lady happy, huh? Sorry, sweetheart, but women can't vote no more. Now go back in the kitchen and stir the sauce, you skank.
Meanwhile, he finds himself missing his only daughter.
Why she's got to go get her master's at Oxford, I don't know. I mean, it ain't like she's going to get drafted.
And so he mulls over an offer from the heads of the royal family.
Let me get this straight. You want me to come over there and help you bring back tourism because everybody's staying away, scared of mad cow disease? Why? Because I'm married to a mad cow?
But then, a bombshell. Newsweek prints excerpts from a new book suggesting that if Consigliere Souder had one more day to plead his case, the new boss might not have been Uncle Junior Bush.
And Tony Kennedy, if Davy the Forehead had his way, Allie would have been the made guy instead of being passed over for that numbnuts Georgie B. I'm telling you, leave it to a Kennedy to things up.
The Sopranos, just your average dysfunctional criminal family.
Hey, Hillary, I just got off the phone with our daughter in England. She says they named a disease after you over there.
Well, I was out of the room, so we had to go to that. It's 23 after the hour. Let's go back to Warner Wolf. Warner?
Yeah, man.
So what do you see now?
I'm looking out my window south, and I see the north side, the tower on the right, which was hit first. It's just a gigantic hole. It's closer to the top than the tower that was hit on the left.
Right.
And the smoke is, that's the thing. There's people in there that God's sakes, the smoke will kill them. It's horrible. And the smoke is just rising up, especially the tower on the left. And the hole, now you can see that smoke is diminished a little. The tower on the right, you can see the hole. It's like two monster holes with a little partition in the middle. And the one on the left, it's harder to see because the smoke is still bellowing up. But it's, oh, God, and then the fire is still on the left. The one on the right, you can't see fire on the right, but the one on the left, you can still see the fire. And, of course, you know that besides all the businesses, it's also the mass transit. You have the subway in there. I've taken that many times. This is horrible.
And then they actually have footage of the plane flying into the other World Trade Center, and we saw that, and there's a neat television here, what they're doing.
We have standing by on the phone Joe Cantamesa, former lead investigator for the attack on the World Trade Center in 1993. Joe, if you continue to stand by, but just to set this out for people who are just joining us, let's go back over to Lester Holt to explain exactly what unfolded just a short time ago. Lester?
When we went on the air at 9 o'clock, one tower was already burning, and then after a few minutes, while we were all watching live, another airplane appeared in the picture. Let's punch up, if we can, that shot, and I'll give you an idea of exactly what happened here. This is the other airplane. I'm going to telestrate here. Can we punch that up, Paul? Okay, we're going to try and get it up here in a second, but, and there it, okay, we're rewinding. But it was a airliner. There it is. That one right there flies directly into the other tower that had previously been untouched, right through the tower. The airplane, if we can go back to that frozen shot, is clearly a commercial airliner of some sort. It has all the telltale marks of a commercial airliner, a swept wing, 2 big engines slung underneath. It is very difficult to tell what kind of airplane that is. But clearly the big high bypass, those big fat engines under each wing, that is a commercial airliner. NBC's Andrea Mitchell, our Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent, joins us now from Washington with more information. Andrea, what do you have?
Lester, I've just talked to a top U.S. official who tells me that their early reports are that at least one of those planes was a hijacked American Airlines plane en route from Boston to Los Angeles. That's one of the two planes. This same official says that there was no terror alert other than the usual worldwide caution. They had no warnings on bin Laden or other types of terror alerts coming into our intelligence community. But a senior U.S. official says that their early reports, and we should caution that early reports in these kinds of incidents are often incorrect, but this early report coming to a top U.S. official is that at least one of the two planes was a hijacked American Airlines plane en route from Boston to Los Angeles. Lester?
We should say American Airlines operates 737s and 757s, both of which might seem similar to what we see there. Andrea, tell us, there's got to be a game plan in the U.S. government for something of this magnitude. What is kicking into the works right now as we speak?
Primarily the FBI. This is the kind of operation that would be immediate response from the FBI. Now, you know, after the World Trade Center bombing some years ago, that New York created, to some criticism, in fact, but Mayor Giuliani created an emergency response center and spent a great deal of money. There is an emergency center in New York City. There have been drills. Now, many cities in the country, including New York, have not passed all of their drills, but there have been emergency response teams recently reorganized within the past year to try to centralize the emergency response mechanism so that it is not as diffuse. There were so many different agencies that would respond to the possibility of bioterror, to any kind of chemical alert. So what they discovered is that the big effort by the Clinton administration to respond to these kinds of things was not up to snuff according to preliminary reviews by the new administration, and they were trying to streamline that approach. In fact, one of the top officials in charge of anti-terror responses domestically was moved sort of sidelined, and a new team within the NSC was being created.
And one of the things we should point out is that America is virtually defenseless to a maverick or a hijacked airplane. We still have primarily Air National Guard units, air defense units based on the coasts of the United States to look for intruders, drug intruders, bombers, other airplanes that may try to penetrate U.S. airspace, but they are not geared up to deal with a threat that may come from within U.S. airspace, which may be the case here. And even if they were aware of it, if these planes were in fact carrying passengers, as that report would indicate, they would be defenseless to do anything about it. We have looked at this shot over and over again, and this plane appears to be under complete control and aimed directly at the Trade Center. Let's put up that shot again now, if we can give you a better idea of the airplane that we saw. This was the second attack, and here it is, clearly guiding directly clearly guiding directly into that tower. These are planes that have two cockpit members usually, the captain and the first officer. The cockpits are locked. We all know about metal detectors and all that sort of thing, but if someone poses a threat, presents a weapon, threatens a weapon, who knows what could happen on an airplane here. And the question is, you look at this and you wonder who could possibly fly an airplane directly into a building, even a cockpit member under some sort of duress. You wonder how difficult it would be to aim a plane directly, and there it is. And I want to point out what we were seeing here that made it clear to us that this was a airliner. There's two engines there. See the engine slung beneath the wings? That is a typical layout of a commercial jetliner, and there the wings sweep back there. I've kind of messed up the picture. President Bush is speaking. Let's listen.
Education. I do want to thank the folks here at the Booker Elementary School for their hospitality. Today we've had a national tragedy. Two airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country. I have spoken to the Vice President, to the Governor of New York, to the Director of the FBI, and have ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families, and to conduct a full-scale investigation to hunt down and to find those folks who committed this act. Terrorism against our nation will not stand. And now, if you join me in a moment of silence. God bless the victims, their families, and America. Thank you very much.
And the indication we are getting is the president will get on a plane and head immediately to Washington, D.C., his events canceled. In case you're just now joining us, planes crashed into the upper floors of both World Trade Center towers minutes apart just a short time ago. A horrific scene of...
Well, we're listening to a feed from MSNBC, and we can tell you that two apparently commercial airliners, both apparently hijacked, we don't have much more information than that, have, been hijacked and flown into both towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, in the financial district of New York City. And we don't know much more about that other than that the FBI is investigating the report that these planes were hijacked, one apparently an American Airlines from Boston to New York.
Boston to Los Angeles.
Boston to Los Angeles.
That was Andrea Mitchell's, that was her information after she discussed this with some high officials.
Yeah, and then the other plane we don't know, United Airlines.
Well, there was at least one suggestion that it could have been a United Airlines aircraft.
I mean, a scene right out of one of these New Line Cinema movies.
Absolutely.
I mean, just an awful scene.
Within either building, perhaps the top 20 floors of either building on fire.
And it's shortly, they both happen around 9 o'clock Eastern time. One before 9 o'clock, about 12 minutes before 9 o'clock. And the other about 10 minutes after that. Charles, do you have any information?
A senior U.S. official says at least one of two planes was, in fact, the hijacked American Airlines aircraft, as we mentioned, en route from Boston to Los Angeles. The president just spoke, we know, and is heading back to Washington, canceling the rest of his schedule today. The top at least 20 floors are still on fire. There's been no communication or anyone at this point claiming responsibility. Skies, as is pointed out here, are perfectly clear this morning in New York, and so the likelihood of any plane having accidentally strayed from its intended flight path into the World Trade Center is almost impossible.
Oh.
Mayor Giuliani holding a news conference at the corner of Park Place and Church Street in Manhattan about what has happened, this absolutely horrific, unbelievable scene in the financial district of New York City this morning. No word at this point on what has happened so far as casualties are concerned. There was one early report, unconfirmed, that perhaps a half dozen fatalities had been reported, but
there's no traffic being let into the city. You can leave the outbound George Washington Bridge and Lincoln Tunnel, but that is it. Other than that, you can't get in or out of the city.
So they have sealed off New York City, at least certainly Manhattan.
And we are in across the 59th Street Bridge in Queens.
Right.
Where we apparently will be for a while. All of the New York airports are closed. The Lincoln Tunnel is closed until
until they can make some further determination of
what's going on.
Exactly what has happened here and what agency or agents are responsible.
Who did this?
Yes.
All right, but we'll let you know what's going on.
Imus in the morning.
Let's discuss smells. You know, those familiar odors that tickle your olfactory senses. For example, there's the, someone's been cooking with garlic smell. And you've got your, somebody's sweater's been in mothballs smell. But at Continental Airlines, our favorite is the new car smell. Of course, for us, it's more like a new plane smell, but you get the point. That's because Continental, along with Continental Express, now flies the youngest jet fleet of the 10 largest U.S. carriers. And while that may be a feather in our cap, the true reward goes to you by way of larger overhead bins, cleaner, more comfortable seats, and state-of-the-art video-equipped planes. Plus, we've earned more customer satisfaction awards from Frequent Flyer magazine, J.D. Power & Associates than any other airline. So book a flight and hope the person in the seat next to you doesn't have there's no such thing as too much aftershave smell. Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right. For J.D. Power and Associates award details, call Continental Airlines at 1-800-225-8597.
In order to help spread the word about the Visa check card, we're asking for your help. Next time you're packed into a crowded subway or in line at the local deli or simply standing on the sidewalk surrounded by total strangers, tap the shoulder of the person nearest you, smile, and say, "Excuse me."
Yo, who you touching?
Did you know that the Visa check card automatically deducts your purchase amount straight from your checking account?
Excuse me?
That's right. It's faster and easier than writing checks and fumbling for ID and less of a hassle than relying on cash.
Get out of here.
It's perfect for making all those everyday purchases.
No, seriously, get out of here.
And what's more, the Visa check card is accepted everywhere Visa is. Over 18 million places worldwide. Pass it on. Sure, this might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but don't let a couple of awkward moments get you down. Keep spreading the word, and you can be sure that people will thank you for it in the end.
Yeah, let's move it along, pal.
Visa check card. It's everywhere you want to be.
Everyone is interested in something, from yoga to Yugoslavia, Brad Pitt to biology. And at Content Store, ContentVille.com, you can get everything about anything at great prices. With ContentVille's cross-content search, you'll find books, magazines, articles, dissertations, and more on whatever interests you, all with the click of a mouse. All items are downloadable or shipped to you within 48 hours. Contentville offers magazine subscriptions with fast first-issue delivery. Order a subscription today from Contentville's selection of over 800 titles, and your first issue will be in the mail to you within 48 hours, not 48 days. And Contentville sells magazine subscriptions at the lowest authorized price on the web. Come to Contentville now and save 90% off the cover price of New York Magazine, 74% off 17, or choose from many other great offers. So visit ContentVille.com today. That's ContentVille.com to find everything about anything at great prices.
Does your vacuum cleaner earn its keep? Hi, I'm David Orrick. My 8-pound Orrick XL is so powerful it cleans the world's finest hotels, yet it uses 1/3 as much electricity as most other uprights. Try my Orrick XL risk-free, and I'll give you my $100 cordless iron as a gift. Call 1-800-989-4200. That's 1-800-989-4200. Nobody works harder to give you more value for your money than I do.
Hey, Joe, why so bummed out? You've got the key to the executive washroom.
Well, the old man raised my sales quota and cut my budget again. I may as well flush this key.
Try WebEx. With WebEx, tech support cut call times in half. Training delivers classes online in real time and saves a bundle in travel costs.
I can use WebEx meetings to make more sales calls at a fraction of the cost. Maybe I'll keep this key after all.
Uh-oh. WEBEX.com. Try it.
Well, NBC News is reporting that an American Airlines plane has been was hijacked, and crashed into the World Trade Center. Clearly the worst attack on American soil since Pearl Harbor.
Absolutely.
And if both planes were hijacked, I mean, it could be 200 or 300 people on each plane, a couple hundred anyway, 150, whatever. Who knows how many people are in the World Trade Center? Who knows if this is some sort of orchestrated attack on...
CNN is reporting that the aircraft was an American 767. And I wondered, because of the size of the engines that is indicated in that footage we've seen so far, 767 is a very large aircraft. And there are reports now of at least 1,000 injuries, although that figure is not confirmed, and then this is going to be going on for a while, as they just try to come to grips with just the size of the potential of the disaster.
Is Miklashevsky on the air now? Pot him up on him.
Whether it was an accident or what is going on, we're going to try to find those details and get them to you as soon as possible. But interestingly enough, one intelligence official here in the building said when he saw what appeared to be the coordinated attack on the World Trade Center, his advice was to stay away from the outside of the building today, just in case. Now, again, nobody has any indications of exactly what happened, but it appears that there has been some kind of, it felt like a small blast of some kind. Again, the windows shook, the building shook, the windows rattled, and people, if I'm looking out the window now, and the construction workers are still keeping a good, the construction workers are still keeping a distance. That's all I can see. and I see no other extracurricular security activity right outside. But to get more information, I'm going to have to break away and walk down the hallway and see what it is exactly that happened here just a few moments ago.
Mick, see what you can find out. Please be careful and let us know what's going on.
What appears to have been a twin terrorist attack on the World Trade Center, 2 planes minutes apart, deliberately crashing into the upper floors of the World Trade Center on the southern tip of Manhattan. The New York Stock Exchange is closed. All airports in New York are closed. The Lincoln Tunnel is closed. The Situation Room is now the focus of attention in the nation's capital. The president on his way back from Florida to Washington, Condoleezza Rice, National Security Advisor, and other top officials now heading to the Situation Room at the White House. Chris?
President George W. Bush was in Sarasota, Florida. He was reading to children in a classroom when he was whispered into his ear by his chief of staff, Andrew Card, about what had happened at the World Trade Center. A short time later, he appeared on national television calling this an apparent terrorist attack.
Exactly what
now,
happened.
these are the pictures right now outside of the
According
Pentagon.
to one U.S. Army
Let's listen to Jim McLeshevsky, our
running
Pentagon
past me in a
correspondent.
full trot. He said that it appears that a bomb was detonated at the heliport. The heliport is a helicopter landing area right next to the Pentagon, just adjacent to the E-ring. The offices nearest the heliport area are U.S. Army, Reserve officers, and the Army Reserve our offices are located there. But as you can see, it appears to be a pretty significant blast. To give you some perspective, we are almost on the opposite side of the building, the world's largest office building. And as I reported to you, we could feel the building shake and the windows rattle. And as I was in the hallway just a few moments ago, I could smell an acrid kind of smoke.
So the report we have now is that a bomb has gone off at the Pentagon.
In some place at a helipad, near a heliport, according to Jim Mikolashevsky, who's there at the Pentagon. There is further report now from the New Jersey State Police that all Hudson River bridges and tunnels have been closed as a precaution in the wake of this apparent double terrorist attack on the World Trade Center towers.
And if it's an orchestrated, obviously an orchestrated,
clearly
terrorist attack, if a bomb has gone off now at the Pentagon.
Yep.
On the heliport there at the Pentagon. Let's listen to more of what Mr.
There's miles and miles of offices. At what location did this seem to have detonated?
It's at the heliport. The heliport, which is as you sit in the Pentagon, you have the Potomac River and Washington D.C. on one side, and the heliport is located almost exactly on the opposite side of the building, along one of the highways, easily accessible. Even though that they've increased security here significantly at the Pentagon within the past couple of years, that area...
I want to mention to you, Mick, that we are hearing, again, unconfirmed reports that this was the result of a plane crashing in the area as well.
I have no idea, Katie. All I know is that people who were in the building who came running from that part of the building thought it was a bomb of some kind.
This is in Sarasota, Florida. President George W. Bush about to board Air Force One, heading back very quickly to Washington, canceling all of his events there, and he will be heading over to the Situation Room with top officials, including National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice. There you can see people hurrying back up into Air Force One.
And we are reading on the Associated Press wires that the West Wing of the White House has now been evacuated. The West Wing of the White House. Let's go back and listen to the continuing description at the Pentagon by Jim Mikolashevsky. Evacuated from the Pentagon?
Well, nobody's given us the official word yet, but I think that's probably a safe bet. Thank goodness that was a helicopter that just flew by. I'm just a little nervous right now when you hear aircraft go past, but they have, in fact, evacuated that portion of the building. Usually they have sirens that go off in the building alerting you to the fact that it's time to get out. I haven't heard those yet, but just judging by the pictures, it's clear that that part of the building that is not damaged, at least, has been evacuated. Like I said, in the hallway, it was pandemonium.
Bring you up to date of what we have so far here. We have two planes that have crashed apparently into the World Trade Center. We have
apparently two commercial airliners.
What is being now reported as an explosion or another plane crash at the Pentagon in Washington. And they have, according to Jim Miklachevsky at NBC News, they have evacuated the west wing of the White House. That's the wing where the president is and all the main offices and so on. It's the working part of the White House. And so whether this is, of course, an orchestrated, it's doubtful. It's certainly doubtful it's a coincidence with the World Trade Center.
Right.
But whether this is part of all of this involving the Pentagon or not is, one would have to suspect it probably is. But the president was in Sarasota, Florida. He's rushing back now to the Situation Room at the White House. They've sealed off New York City, and so you can't get in or out, and certainly of Manhattan. And which just in terms of where we are about a mile. We're about a mile from Manhattan.
Right.
Across the 59th Street Bridge in Queens, New York. And
to the east of Manhattan.
And we would,
And the FBI is investigating a reported airline hijacking, and there are reports from NBC News that one of the aircraft that was flown deliberately, apparently, into the World Trade Center this morning was an American Airlines flight from Bogan that had been hijacked out of Boston, heading for original destination, Los Angeles.
Well, there's not much we know now. The best news you're going to get, of course, is to turn on your television. I'm not trying to get you to turn your radio up, but if you're in your car or something, which a lot of you are, why?
Yep.
The best we can tell you is that's what we know. Both tops of the World Trade Center engulfed in smoke, as I'm looking at a live picture now on NBC News. And they're reporting that two commercial airliners were apparently hijacked and flown into the World Trade Center, both towers, and unbelievably, you couldn't make it up in a all planes across the country have now been grounded
by the FAA.
So there are no flights anywhere in the country at this point. Manhattan has been sealed off. That's the main part of New York City, of course. And there's been an explosion in Washington, D.C. at the Pentagon. And that's where we are at this point, and nobody knows much more than that.
Imus in the morning.
Let me talk to you about the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. They've been in business for about 35 years, maybe longer. And it's a good way to get a job in the world of communications. Here is the lead sentence in the Connecticut School of Broadcasting copy, Charles. The world of communications is exploding with all kinds of opportunities in radio, television, the internet, and multimedia. It's unfortunate. Call the Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV Radio now with 8 campuses in Farmington and Stratford, Connecticut, and Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, also in the Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Palm Beach, and Fort Lauderdale areas. The Connecticut School of Broadcasting, 1-800-TV Radio, 1-800-887-2346.
Listen this Friday to Mike and the Mad Dogs Football Friday show for your chance to win tickets to the NFC champion New York Giants home opener against the Green Bay Packers. Plus, one lucky winner will receive a day on the Madden Cruiser from Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Here's what the package includes. We'll pick you and your guest up in the fan van and escort you to the Madden Cruiser, where you'll ride to the game with John Madden himself. Before taking your seats for the game, you'll tour the Fox Sports facilities at the stadium. Listen between 5 and 6 p.m. for Mike and the Mad Dogs football trivia for your chance to win tickets to the NFC champion New York Giants home opener against the Green Bay Packers. It's all from Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right, and the flagship station for Giants football, The Fan. Sports Radio 66 WFAN, New York.
Honey, you know those old windows in the living room?
Yeah, they're in worse shape than I am. None of them closes right.
And I need a bank to finance our heating bills.
Well, there should be a store where all kinds of windows would be on display, full size, with an expert salesperson to help us, who might even recommend a reliable contractor.
Sort of like a window paradise.
Yes, or a Windorama.
Windorama. We're your store for windows, doors, and skylights, featuring Andersen windows. It's here that you'll find energy-efficient windows from Andersen and products like entrance doors and bay or bow windows. Windorama offers you thousands of styles at great prices and knowledgeable salespeople to guide you. There are 20 Windorama stores in New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. To find the Windorama store nearest you, please call 1-800-575-72